Men receive love very differently than women, and misunderstanding this creates conflict. Welcome to day 39, everybody. I'm Dr. Nicole, and today we're talking about men's love languages from a psychological perspective. As a psychologist who works with couples, I see how many relationship problems stem from people speaking different emotional languages. You might be pouring love into your partner, but if you're not speaking his language, he might not be receiving it. This isn't about changing who you are to please a man. It's about understanding how to communicate love in a way that actually lands so you can create deeper connection and avoid unnecessary conflict. Let's quickly review the 5 love languages because understanding these is foundational to healthy relationships. Words of affirmation. This is verbal appreciation, encouragement, and affection. Quality time. Focused attention and presence. Physical touch. We all love this, right? Appropriate physical connection and affection. Acts of service. This is doing helpful things for someone. Receiving gifts. Thoughtful presents that show care. Most people have one or two primary love languages, ways they most naturally give and receive love. The key insight is that we tend to give love in the language we want to receive it. But if your partner has a different love language, your efforts might not be landing in the way you intend. This is especially important to understand with men because masculine and feminine energy often express and receive love differently. Here's what I've observed in my practice. Men often express love differently than they receive it. How men typically express love is through acts of service, fixing things, providing, solving problems. Physical touch, not just sexual, even casual affection. Quality time, doing activities together, being present. Now, how men typically receive love is words of affirmation like appreciation, respect, which is big, and acknowledgement. Physical touch, affection, intimacy, and casual contact. And acts of service, being cared for, having needs anticipated and met. The disconnect happens when women try to love men the way women want to be loved, or when they miss the ways men are already showing love. For example, when he fixes something in your house, he might be saying, I love you in his language. But if your love language is words of affirmation, you might not recognize this as a loving gesture. Similarly, you might show love by talking through problems together, quality time and words. But if his love language is physical touch, he might prefer a hug over a long conversation. Men often make bids for connection that women don't recognize as such. A bid for connection is any attempt to get attention, to get affection, or to get support from your partner. Men's bids often look different from women's bids. Women's bids for connection might sound like, I had such a hard day, can we talk? I'm feeling disconnected from you. I need some affection right now. Men's bids might sound like, want to watch this movie together, which is quality time, or look what I fixed today, which is them seeking appreciation. Casual physical touch while walking past you, so that's physical connection. I'm stressed about work, which is an indirect request for support. Women sometimes miss these bids because they're more subtle or indirect than how women typically communicate their needs. When you miss his bids consistently, he might stop making them, which creates distance in the relationship. Here's something crucial. Men bond through appreciation and respect in ways that women often don't fully understand. So, appreciation means noticing and acknowledging his efforts, his contributions, and his intentions, even if the execution isn't perfect. Respect means trusting his judgment, valuing his perspective, and not trying to manage or control how he does things. This is key. This doesn't mean you can't have preferences or boundaries. It means you express them in ways that honor his autonomy and competence and your respect for it. For example, instead of, you need to load the dishwasher, right? Try, I really appreciate you helping with the dishes. Would you mind if I showed you how I like them arranged? Instead of, you're always late, try, punctuality is really important to me. Can we figure out a way to make sure we're on time? The difference is that the second approach acknowledges his effort while addressing your need rather than attacking his character or his competence. And that's key for men. Men need appreciation, but they don't want to be mothered. There's a fine line between acknowledging his efforts and treating him like a child. Appreciation sounds like, I love how you handled that situation. Thank you for taking care of that. I feel so supported when you're doing things like this. Over mothering sounds like, good job, honey, like you would say to a toddler. Or, I'm so proud of you. Unless it's a major accomplishment, that can sound patronizing. Excessive praise for adult responsibilities is not the key. The key is to appreciate him as an equal partner, not as someone you're managing or raising. Soft affirmations that men respond well to are affirmations that acknowledge their masculine qualities, their strength, their capability, their protective nature. Soft affirmation examples include, I feel so safe with you. You always know how to make me feel better. I love how you think through problems. You make me feel so cared for. These affirmations acknowledge his impact on you without being over the top or inauthentic. One of the most powerful ways to love a man is to gracefully receive his efforts to love you. When he tries to fix your problem, receive it as love, even if you just wanted to vent. When he does something for you, receive it with gratitude, even if it's not exactly how you would have done it. When he shows physical affection, receive it warmly, even if you're not in the mood for intimacy. This doesn't mean you can't have boundaries or preferences. It means you recognize the loving intention behind his actions and respond to that intention. Here are some common ways that women accidentally speak the wrong love language to men. Trying to process emotions verbally when he needs space. Some men need time to think before they can talk about feelings. Or criticizing his methods instead of appreciating his intentions. He might not do things exactly how you would, but if the intention is loving, focus on that. Giving advice when he just wants support. Sometimes he's not looking for solutions, he just wants you to believe in him. Or withholding physical affection when you're upset. If physical touch is his love language, this feels like punishment rather than communication. Over talking when he's trying to connect through activity. Some men connect through doing things together rather than talking. The key is learning to recognize how he naturally gives and receives love and meeting him there. When you start speaking his love language, several things start to happen. He feels more loved and appreciated, which makes him want to love you more in return. Conflicts decrease because you're both feeling more connected and understood. He becomes more responsive to your needs because he feels like his efforts are valued. The relationship feels easier because you're working with his natural tendencies rather than against them. Remember, this isn't about losing yourself or only focusing on his needs. It's about creating a positive cycle where both people feel loved and appreciated. Love lands better when it's translated into the language the other person understands. Take time to observe how your partner naturally shows love and experiment with speaking his love language. Notice how he responds when you appreciate his efforts, when you receive his care gracefully, when you affirm his positive impact on your life. Make sure you hit subscribe for day 40. We are there, where we are reacting to Aisha and Jared from Love is Blind, analyzing their attachment energy and relationship dynamics. Tell me in the comments, what do you think your partner's primary love language is? I will see you tomorrow as we continue on this journey. We're hitting day 40. Congrats on making it this far. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Dr. Nicole.